Coming up next on News Channel 13 live at 11, it's primary eve, and the Democratic candidates for Albany mayor appear to be running in a close race. We'll have the final results of our exclusive bullet poll. We'll also look at the Republican primary for Saratoga County Sheriff, which pits the incumbent against his former chief deputy. News Channel 13 live at 11, up next.
This is News Channel 13, WNYT, Albany. And now, live for the Capital Region, Ed Dague, Chris Kapostashi, Bob McNamara with sports, and meteorologist Bob Kovacic. This is News Channel 13, live at 11.
Good evening. Chris has the night off, the night before primary day, when politics tops the news, and we'll start in the city of Albany, where our exclusive News Channel 13 bullet poll continues to show Harold Joyce closing the gap on Gerald Jennings in the race for the Democratic nomination for mayor. Here are the final numbers. Jennings leading by 6% in a poll with a 4.5% margin of error. Last week, Jennings led by 9%. The week before that, by 14%. Our poll has shown Jennings leading among younger voters since the first one we took last June. Now, the poll says Jennings has a majority of those voters, but they are historically less likely to vote than their parents or grandparents. The best news for Jennings in our poll is his first clear majority among the baby boomers. He has led here for weeks, but now has a majority of these voters. Jennings' lead here by 10 points last week, 14 now this week. On the other hand, Harold Joyce wins big among older voters. These voters have been the most volatile of all in our poll, but tonight, between 6 and 8 o'clock, a clear majority of older voters favored Harold Joyce. So our exclusive poll says it should be close tomorrow. Jennings has the edge, but not the conclusive margin that he apparently enjoyed just 2 weeks ago. What are the candidates saying about the poll? Well, Jennings says the results are encouraging. Joyce that he is concerned only about tomorrow's poll. Pat Minarcin has more for us on the candidates last night before the primary. Pat joins us live from Albany City Hall. Pat.
Ed, this beautiful old building behind me here is the trophy tomorrow. You go in the main entrance there, first door to the right. That's the mayor's office. Both candidates saying tonight that they're confident. The difference is in how they're saying it. The Gerald Jennings and Harold Joyce campaigns tonight, a study in contrasts. Jennings riding around town in the back of a convertible, energized, waving, the populace working the streets, asking people one last time for their votes. Joyce, weary-looking, heir to the old guard Democratic legacy in town, presiding over a routine meeting of the Albany County Legislature.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
If politics is mostly an art of symbols, then the symbols tonight may have been favoring Jennings. He even answered the usual pre-election questions, the ones reporters have been asking for years, with vitality and energy.
We have great momentum going, and I'm looking forward to a nice high voter turnout, and we're going to win this tomorrow. We really are.
Joyce, meantime, though he surely didn't intend to, answered the same questions almost like someone rehearsing a concession speech.
I want to thank all my volunteers. They've done a great job. They're working right through tonight and tomorrow, I'm sure. It's been a great campaign, and the people have been wonderful.
Of course, Ed, with the polls tightening the way they are, we may see the opposite tomorrow night. Joyce, for instance, answering questions, talking about the future with energy and conviction. One thing you learn in this business, Ed, as you well know, if anything can happen, it usually will. So right at this point, only this much is certain. It'll all be over. The primary will, long about this time tomorrow night. Ed?
And as you well know, Pat, in the end, it could prove to have been just a preliminary bout between Joyce and Jennings.
That's exactly right, Ed. At this point, of course, as most people know, if Jennings wins, it's all over. But Jennings has said that if he loses tomorrow, he'll still run in November as an independent. Then he'll have not only whatever support he picks up tomorrow and manages to keep, but whatever Republican and independent support he can garner in November as well. That would make for one heck of a horse race come November, so we'll all be sitting here and watching tomorrow night.
Can't wait to see real numbers. Thank you. Pat Minarcin reporting live from Albany City Hall. In Saratoga County tomorrow, Republicans are being asked to choose between the longtime sheriff and his former chief deputy. Bill Lambdin has a preview of that bitter contest.
Ed, once close, law enforcement associates, now rivals in a race where there is no pretense of friendliness remaining. Jim Bowen has become used to this sign. The voters of Saratoga County have chosen him for the last 21 years. But this year it may get taken away through the determined opposition of his former chief deputy, whom Bowen demoted twice before Chris Morrell resigned.
He's always been somewhat paranoid. It's become much more extreme in the last few years.
His demotion was because he did not perform. He lost the respect of the sergeants, the men and women of the sheriff's department.
Now the sole goal of the department is to re-elect the incumbent.
It's a pretty strong charge. Are they not sufficiently enforcing the laws around here?
It isn't a case of laws, it's a case of the entire philosophy of the department has changed within the past couple of years. Promotions have been based on the sheriff's favorites rather than the people that really deserve to get the job.
If he did his job and performed and led the men and women of this department like he was supposed to, he'd still be there. It has nothing to do with that. This department has to function for the people of this county, and as long as I'm sheriff, I'm going to make sure it does.
Insults have certainly livened up the race, but the man who is chosen will have to run a department of 130 people. What does he plan to do?
The community-oriented policing, the use of the senior volunteers, and I'd like to get rid of the favoritism method of promotion.
We'll have to increase the patrol. We'll have to put new computers in this department. We have to look at the expansion for the jail.
With no Democrat running in heavily Republican Saratoga County, the winner in tomorrow's GOP sheriff's primary will go a long way toward getting elected in November. However, each man has a second line on the November ballot, so this race may very well continue up until November election day. Ed?
And in a sense, Bill, the only sure loser may be the Republican Party, which has been fractured by this.
Yes, it hasn't been easy on anybody, and there was a story just this weekend about alleged favoritism, according to the Morrell camp, at the GOP picnic in Saratoga.